Yeah. So friends, we are in the second unit of Telangana movement and we have completed the first unit. As I said, I will give the material on Saturday, the notes for it, so that you can start having tests from next Saturday. Okay, and we will continue. In the previous class, we have seen Hyderabad state and its developments. I also gave you some idea about what kind of developments that are there in Hyderabad state in the time of 48 and 52, right? The kind of integration, whether it was integration or liberation, all the political aspects associated with it. We also discussed the BRK, Burkula Ramakrishna Rao government, and what are the administrative changes they have brought in during the period from 52 onwards, and what kind of impact it had on the Telangana. So our whole issue is how this Telangana movement paper, now you just always have to focus on how are you connecting it to the Telangana issue. We have three problems. One is funds, the one is water, the other one is jobs. In this, it is the Mulki, non-Mulki or Gair Mulki issue is one of the oldest. And in this segment, the syllabus, as per the syllabus, the third point here is 1952 Mulki agitation. And friends, I think this is a very, very important development that you need to see. We need to understand how the question can be asked in the mains. There are various ways of asking this question. The first one is bring out the significance of 1952 Mulki movement and its impact. Okay? Then impact on Telangana movement like that. Then despite its high participation, 1952 Mulki movement failed to achieve its objectives. Do you agree? In the whole paper of 15 questions, I expect some could be direct questions, some could be seem to be analytical. They may phrase the questions differently. One comparative point for us is AP Group 1. Because it's the neighboring state and they are also having, the AP Group 1 papers are also somewhat better standard as compared to other UP or Bihar and other papers. They are known to give questions almost like UPSC standard, at least some of them. I do expect a similar trend in Telangana Group 1 also, where some questions could be direct, some could be analytical. And second unit becomes very important because the examiner says, some questions are compulsory, the pattern as per the pattern. So there could be some analytical and argumentative questions. You should always remember one thing, friends. The stuff is the same. The points about 1952 movement are the same. In each of these questions, you may have to tweak the conclusions or the kind of arguments we put in. So, I am giving you the same answer to whatever the questions are asked in such a way that it will suit any way of asking the question. So, that point you remember. So, then what led to 1952 Mulki agitation? Discuss its course and follow. It's a direct question. What are the causes or account for the Mulki movement or whatever? Now let us see what are the points here. See, basically why 1952 Mulki movement is significant for us is because, see, in independent India, okay, 1 second, I will change. Some people are unable to see board fully. This has to be adjusted. Yeah. 5. So, one important aspect is why is it this Mulki movement is significant for us in the Telangana movement? First of all, it is the first major upheaval or the movement against non-Mulkis after Hyderabad's integration with Indian Union. We do have the Mulki movement even in Salajang time. 1868 is the first time when there is in Hyderabad court, there is a problem of mulkis and non-mulkis. We did cover all those in detail, but to just give you some perspective, then of course 1919 Farman we did discuss. It is also a fallout of the mulki non-mulki issue, and 1933 we have seen. So before 1948 September, whatever mulki agitation has happened, that is on a different pedestal. But after 1948 Hyderabad's integration, the first major mulki non-mulki movement is 1952. Friends, in fact, it is one of the pillars for the three pillars of modern Telangana agitation, that jobs, funds and water. The mulki issue continued throughout in Telangana movement, and this is the first such major event that you need to remember. So that is one significance. The answer also you have to frame in the same way, which I will give you. Then for the first time, students were brought under the vortex or framework of Telangana movement. And again friends, this continued till the end, whether it is Osmania University students or other university students or other college students. Students did play a very crucial role in Telangana movement. That was a continuum that you see from 1942 to 2014 that makes this second important significant beginning, which we need to look at. The third one is again very interesting point. Jobs are predominantly the students' issue, though every job seeker has a parent. There are parents. Every job seeker has a family behind him. But generally, when we say jobs, it is students whom we see on the roads or the other movements. There are two important, synergies that we find in this movement. One is between rural sentiment and urban realities. Okay, rural sentiment and urban realities is very, very interesting point. If you see the mulki agitation, it started somewhere in Warangal, where somebody transferred the teachers. It is a very seemingly different issue. Okay, some teachers, 180 teachers actually, to give you the exact number, 180 teachers are transferred. We'll come back to that point. But how it snowballed into a major issue, attracting participation from the students, then supporting students. Warangal is a rural area in those days, even it is today a MFC town, right? So how the rural issue, attracted the urban support from Hyderabad gradually is a very, very interesting scenario. There is also one more synergy here which I see between the issue of the students and the other sections of the society. Even if you see the final phase or the 2014 developments, why Telangana was given? Students were at the forefront, no doubt about it. Even in 1952 or 69 movement or 2014 movement or whatever, students are at the forefront. But then we have every section of the society joined them, supported them, right? We have NGOs, we have lawyers, we have advocates and all these people, we have farmers. Okay, so that kind of situation was also seen in 1952 Mulki movement. So all these three makes the movement very, very significant. I always feel one thing, KCR, K. Chandrasekhar Rao, or BRS party, TRS party chief now, he was very intelligent in a way. What he did is studied history properly, nothing else. 1952 movement he had studied, 1969 movement he had studied, he had found out the favorable conditions after the death of Y.S. Rajshekar Reddy, then immediately he pepped up his agitation. Million March Galivandi, whatever you see in Telangana, role of intellectuals, everything we find even in the second phase of the movement. So it is replicated, Of course, comparison is very bad. I don't want to compare this politician with Mahatma Gandhi in no time. But then, how Mahatma Gandhi has replicated the South African model in the Indian national movement, in the similar way, TRS party has successfully replicated the model and framework of the early movements, and that is how we see there is a synergy. He was able to attract support from everybody for the cause of Telangana. So that's why 1952 movement, friends, is a very, very significant thing we need to take care of. We need to study. So this is the first part of the essay when you write, which of course will be given in essay form to you. Then the next issue is, what are the causes for this movement? They can either ask you a direct question on what are the causes for this movement. See, basically, it is a long run-up to 1952 movement. This is a long run-up to 1952 Mulki movement. It did not happen in one day. So we have to identify some 4-5 causes for it. And the challenge is writing all this in 12 minutes. Okay? So you might have studied, some of you might be studying for group 2 or studied group 2 earlier. Okay, exam is still on. You always need to make a judicious decision on what kind of points you give in the mains descriptive answer and what kind of information you might have studied in group 2 examination. I almost have some 140, as on today, we have 147 students who are writing tests with me in Telangana movement, economy, essay and history. Most of the people in Telangana movement answers, they are simply writing all the bits what they have studied in group 2 in as mains. Simply Getal Petadam, simply put it right, dot and then start writing. But where is the analysis? How do you get 7 or 8 marks? You spice out some facts and use along with some kind of analysis. Okay, so the causes and other things becomes very, very important here. So you have to organize it like this way. So the legacy of Mulki, non-Mulki issue, the first is historical aspect. It is not that the Mulki, non-Mulki issues came up only for the first time now. As we say, it even existed in Bahmani times. Before the class commenced, I was just going through one paper. I gave the same question, some outside student where he had taken coaching. Out of the 2 pages answer, I expected to write, 1 page is on, Bahamanis. The answer will not make any sense. What is the point in writing about Muhammad Gawan in Telangana movement paper? Only 1 point, if at all, you want to write. Okay? So, and more importantly, in Telangana movement paper, don't drag the history beyond Nizams. Bahamanis, Qutub Shahis, no. Our starting point, if at all, you have to write only Nizams, because we do have a proper modern Mulki issue under the Nizams. So I am saying the same thing here. Okay, we see the Mulki and non-Mulki issue historically very much relevant in Telangana, and this was seen in the circumstances that led to 1919 Farman and also 1933 Farman. So the point is, the seriousness of Mulki and non-Mulki issue for Telangana is actually very, very important, and we see a historical legacy or continuity of this. Second point, in previous class we had discussed one more topic, one more question on how Mulki rules were violated during the military administration as well as military rule as well as Vellondi. That is one more question you can expect in the first unit. So we did talk about it. So, but here you simply mention one point because you can't go on writing this in this essay. So the second important cause is a complete violation of Mulki norms by Chowdhury or military rule as well as the civil rule, civil administration under Vellondi. So that also worsened the situation after the end of Hyderabad state. The third point is, when we had Hyderabad state formed, we had the elections and the Congress government was formed led by Burgur Ramakrishna Rao. In examination I don't advise you to use the short forms. Here I am writing for the sake of convenience. Okay, so you simply write B Ramakrishna Rao or whatever. So, but there was lot of expectations when the medieval monarchy of Hyderabad state, that passed away into history, to pages of history, and we had the beginning of democracy in Telangana. Okay, so people were really expecting that all the old issues which could not even be presented to Hyderabad Nizam because of his high status, okay, now can be resolved, but then the hope was shattered. It was shattered more so because of the violation of Mulki norms by military rule as well as Velodi, and when some new dispensation takes over, we expect some kind of assurance that yes, we are going to look into this. That kind of assurance did not come from the Hyderabad state government, Congress government or BRK government. That also shattered the hopes. There was an underlying current of dissatisfaction. There was an underlying current of disappointment about not saying certain things, the new government not committing certain things openly. And friends, I tell you, out of all the issues by that point of time, it was Mulki or non-Mulki issue where ordinary people expected some kind of action, some kind of direction from BRK government. That was not given. That is also one more point we need to remember. That is one more cause. However, the immediate cause is, of course, as we know, that is because of the transfer of the teachers. This has to be mentioned as immediate cause only. During the time of military rule as well as Velodi's government, we have lot of Gair Mulkis coming and settling down in Telangana. In the kind of reforms that they brought in, a sudden discontinuation of Urdu was a mistake, because we have a different establishment here where the official language was Urdu. It is wrong to say that entire people did not know Urdu actually. You see most of the people, not necessarily Muslims, even Hindus in those days, they also studied in Urdu medium. I have one uncle who is very old, passed away also. His education was in Urdu medium in Hyderabad. He became a bank officer in Andhra Bank, top officer also. So it's not that Urdu is something limited to only Muslims in Hyderabad state, which is a wrong assumption. It was also known to people. Others, non-Muslims or Hindus and others. Educated class was there. By ignoring this, suddenly they brought people from Andhra. So sudden discontinuation of Urdu became a problem. So in the education department, we have more number of Andhra people who came because of their knowledge of Telugu and because of their knowledge of English also. Because Andhra was under British rule, East India Company rule, British rule. So later, so this has led to a situation where in Telangana, in the education department, we have non-Telangana people who are there, and this DEO, his name is Parthasarathi, the post is DEO, but he is called Deputy School Inspector in those days. Today we are calling him District Education Officer, whatever, but he used the same designation because it is his designation at that point of time. So the Deputy School Inspector in Warangal, he had some small issue with a local teacher, and as if he is taking some kind of revenge, en masse, he had transferred 180 students, teachers, 180 teachers were transferred, en masse, all at once. This is generally not done. It's a kind of, very arbitrary act. So, and the fact that this man being Andhraite or from non-Telangana definitely added spice to it. And then, this is the first instance, friends, I tell you, this is the immediate cause for the 1952 Mulki movement. Let us see how this got transformed into various other developments. So the first part, I repeat, if this question comes, what you need to do, I have already said the question. First you, in 3 sentences, 1 paragraph, you talk about significance of this topic or the movement. Then you just talk about the causes Even if they ask in any manner, you have to follow the structure. You write the causes of this movement, and I gave you 1, 2, 3, 4 causes which are important. We can list out some others, but I am not trying to deviate from the examination. This is a very specialized classes where you will get answers to the questions, where you get enough equipment, enough matter to write in, say, that whatever 12 minutes. So these are the points you have to mention to get more marks. These are the 4 causes. Then now the transfers. This is a continuation. Now the transfers led to a widespread agitation, of the Mulkis. The whole issue of a guide Mulki trying to trouble the Mulkis on some petty issues came up, and these are teachers, right? Automatically students will be there, they respect and love teachers. So the first attention of this issue was drawn to the students. That is how, when the students took up this issue, we have other sections of the society who also joined and supported this kind of Mulki agitation. So friends, this is how the Mulki agitation or Mulki agitation of 1952 has started. The next part of the answer should actually be on the course of the events. What are the course of the events? Okay? So, during Telangana movement, the most important word, common word that we heard was JAC, Jack. Even on bikes or scooters, everybody wrote OU, Jack and all that. Then later, we have bigger, Professor Kodandram and all that were also part of Joint Action Committee. Every association, every professional group formed Joint Action Committees. The first such Joint Action Committee in Telangana movement was formed, on July 26, 1952. I do expect you to remember some of the dates here for the sake of impressing the examiner. So, July 26, if you are unable to remember 26, then at least remember July 1952. Even that is excused and tolerated in the mains. Okay, July 26, 1952, we have the first Joint Action Committee for this Mulki agitation that was formed under a student leader, Buchaya. He was the convener for it. Friends, this set off a whole set of new developments spearheaded by students in the Telangana movement. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of forming a JAC or Joint Action Committee? Automatically for some demands. They had discussed, passed resolutions and arrived at certain demands. Now, what are the demands? These are very interesting. First of all, removal of non-Mulkis immediately. The immediate removal of non-Mulkis. Secondly, why is it that the government is not bothered to frame proper Mulki rules again? Because after Nizam, in fact Nizam was better. 1919 he had found the Mulki rules. 1933 again there was some demand. He tried to look at it. Even a monarch could do it. Why not the democratic government is doing it? The simple question. So the JAC had passed 2 important demands. One is the removal of non-Muslims, and then appointment of a cabinet subcommittee to frame the Mulki rules, to decide on the Mulki rules, so that the subsequent government recruitment of the others, the Mulkis will get justice. One interesting thing about Congress government is they always say committees. In fact, there is a very interesting saying in modern India on political associations and committees. This is by Ronald R. Coupland. The quotation is by Ronald R. Coupland. He says, political committees, like cricket, were introduced by British in India. Then next line, political committees like cricket became favorites for Indians. Even today, government, anything they want to do, will do a committee. Pranab Mukherjee committee, we know. Oh my God, such a delayed development. All the Telangana thing, everything is committees, they never decided. So, like that anyway, this legacy of appointing committees started with the Congress government. So, automatically, what I would like to say is that the students' demand was heard properly by the people, but then at the same time, what has happened? He gave an assurance, but it is not actually coming up. Nothing was happening. So, this was in July. July they formed the JAC, and August there were a lot of meetings of students, and protest began with a rally on August 26th. They waited for almost a month approximately, but then the protest has become, and immediately BRK Burkul Ramakrishna Rao was very good in giving assurances. Simply he'll say yes, okay, we'll appoint a panel. He agreed to, form the subcommittee, cabinet subcommittee on this. So there was a temporary hiatus or gap for the movement. They are in the movement mode only, but there are no rallies or whatever. People were waiting. Okay, we don't say gap. People were adopting. Students were adopting, wait and watch approach. The next important aspect is, this Hanamakonda, there was a protest rally because there was a late. The government was not taking any action, so there was some kind of delay. So in Hanamakonda, the police lathi charged on the students. This became a catalyst for the spread of the movement from Warangal to Hyderabad. Very, very important development. The development is Hanamakonda lathi charge. So if this lathi charge was not done, in fact the movement would not have been so strong. Some foolish decisions, we can't say foolish, it is good for Telangana, so movement picked it up. But in Andhra Pradesh politics, if you see recent elections or the Modi government, don't write it. These are political things, I am just telling you. There are two interesting mistakes committed by government, said the center and Andhra before elections. One is focusing too much on Ram temple. They thought that would give lot of votes and give the 400 seats or whatever, but actually it backfired. See, there are also people who don't want complete religious oriented politics. So that catalyst came up. Till then people were in double mind, this side or that side. The moment they started pushing this before elections, it was clear to everybody. There are interesting studies, by some foreign Center for Public Policy I have studied. They even said that if at all the Modi government had not focused much on the Ram temple, they might have got more seats. Indigo put a flight to Ayodhya. Now they have cancelled. Who will go? Ayodhya is not on the radar actually. If you see Hindu sentiments, Ram is good. I am not against religion. I am also a devotee, honestly. I am a Hindu. But then, it is not on the religious itinerary of the people. Okay, generally people go to Kashi or we go to Sri Sailam or whatever this one. So it led to a bipolarization of the voters. So they lost. They almost lost now. You see his face, he used to walk like this, always alone, now he is walking like this. So, Jagan, AP Jagan is another important case. He arrested Chandrababu Naidu. Okay, then he got sympathy. If at all he had not arrested, he would not have got so many votes. So like that, if at all this lathi charge was not done, the Mulki movement would not have been, such a great, bigger event. A series of mistakes were done. Not only after this lathi charge, this led to the spread of movement from Warangal to Hyderabad. Saifabad College, that is one very important development you have to see. Saifabad College, there was a protest. Students started, protesting severely on this issue. Then the next important development came in. So this is important to note the spread of the movement. The movement spread from Warangal to Hyderabad. Now see, that's what I said in the beginning, there was synergy. We see from the rural and urban, we see a good synergy in Telangana movement. So that is what I meant here. Then September 1950, developments were very crucial. We have the Saifabad College agitation, and this created a kind of resentment among the parents. We have a police officer called Shivkumar Lal, Commissioner of Police, Kotwal of Hyderabad. So he tried to force the students and also tried to blackmail parents that if students are participating in this agitation, you stop them like this. This is never entertained. This is never liked. So this became another focal point. There was one more round of opposition to the Shivkumar Lal's oppressive orders and the kind of containment they were trying to do on the students. Okay, the next important development is this after Saifabad, immediately we have the, if you see it started from Warangal, then Anmukanda Lathi Church, it came up to Hyderabad, the Saifabad issue, and then what we call as the, the City College incident. They kicked back the ideology of Mulki movement to rural Telangana again. So it's a full circle. And Saifabad movement is very, very important, where, for the first time, a very different kind of slogans were raised, which showed a clear-cut divide between Mulkis and non-Mulkis. Some of the slogans are very interesting. Of course, non-Mulkis go back. So far, nobody asked non-Mulkis to go back in Telangana movement. They were only saying give jobs to the Mulkis. For the first time, a kind of deprivation, a feeling of deprivation had come in the non-Mulkis. They started giving slogans like non-Mulkis go back. Then we also have lot of Madrasis. Andhra people are also called Madrasis. See, even in Madras and Andhra, idli sambar is popular. Okay, so even Hyderabad we eat idli sambar. Nothing against diet, but then one of the popular slogan in those days, idli sambar ghar ko jao. Okay, so these are interesting slogans. We may laugh it out, but then friends, can't you see the deep undercurrent of deprivation here? Okay, that is very, very important point. So the Saifabad College incident and the lathi charge, then the opposition, oppressive orders of this Lal, Kotwal Lal, all these things, these were on September 2nd. When Saifabad College incident has taken place, the Shivkumar Lal was trying to oppress and lathi charge orders and all this. City college people got infected with this ideology of Mulki fight. We have on September 3rd, we have a major incident which is called as the City College incident. So after the September 3rd, 1952, then City College is a very old college which was established in principle in 1865. 1929 onwards it is called City College and affiliated to Usmania University. It is one of the very prime colleges in Hyderabad. You see some of the old Hyderabadis, in fact they are very proud of being City College products. Ippudu the poindi OU education gani, but in the old days people used to say that City College is as good as Hyderabad Public School in some other section of the society, where people are not so rich, they are not from the Jagirdar families or Paiga nobles, but normal middle class people who are intellectuals who became civil servants, ICS officers, everybody was from the City College. So this had a high intellectual caliber. City College was known for high intellectual caliber, and there is actually a lot of developments here. So, okay, now agitation spread, and the City College, they protested against the Warangal incident. Okay, so that is how there were a lot of crowds that gathered. We do have old politicians like Venkateswamy, G. Venkateswamy, then we have Moolchand, Lakshmi Narayana, We also have Konda Lakshman Bapuji, who is a very respected fighter for Telangana movement. All these people were also there. So there was lot of crowd that came up, and gradually it became uncontrollable. Okay, so it is in this context that there was firing, which resulted in the death of 4 students in the City College incident. And it is better you write the names also. One is Muhammad Qasim, okay, and the second student is Sheikh Mahbub. Unfortunately, these 2 students died there in the firing. Then we have Jamaluddin and we have Ramul. So these are the 4 students who died in this City College firing incident. Okay, so there is also some others who supported the students at this point of time. Okay, so they were the leaders who were called Padmaja Naidu, then Jai Surya Naidu. These are some of the sympathizers for the Telangana movement. And we have Dr. Vagdev. These are the people who try to pacify students and try to consolidate them. Now what has happened? Another important problem that they have done is, see, death is something unfortunate, but post-death rituals are also very important for the families because of the religious belief. What this police did is, they simply took these bodies of the 4, 2 died on the spot, 2 they were dead later while getting treatment. They simply buried them secretly without handing over the dead bodies to the families. They were buried somewhere near Mir Alam Tank. So this again became a serious protest. That became the trigger for the next round of activity, which was on September 4th. This has happened on September 3rd. September 4th, this was the second round of protest. Even though, VRP had ordered that, we have to exhume the bodies and hand over them to the family. The damage has already been done. So this is the second level of major agitation, which is a follow-up of the City College incident, day 2. Chief Minister also went to pacify the students, and there was almost a kind of dummy kind of thing where the situation became uncontrollable. In fact, Chief Minister was rescued to safety, and the car, which was just left by the Chief Minister, was also burned down. Okay, so it was a major law and order issue, and of course there was firing again. So second day also there was a firing. So friends, these are the 2 major issues that created a lot of problem, and this is how the 2 police firings on the City College incident became legendary for the Telangana movement. The City College incident is important because it cemented the students' participation in Telangana movement. I repeat, it cemented the students' participation in Telangana movement, because otherwise, till the end, students were almost idealizing these 4 martyrs, Muhammad Qasim, Sheikh Mahbub, Jamaluddin and Ramulu. They have become heroes for the people, and a lot of grief was there. So it is in this point of time, a cabinet subcommittee was finally formed. See, the problem with Telangana movement, leaders, when they are doing, they can do it early. Even Telangana, they gave in 2014. We have so many students who suffered, who died. Anyway, what is wrong in giving a smaller state if there is so much sentiment? Now see, Congress always does this. honestly. I'm not being political, don't write it. You know, governments rather, any government, if not the Congress government. Now this cabinet subcommittee assurance was given by Congress BRK government when the JAC was formed, right? Second day when the resolution was there, they formed. They did not form. Now 2 filings and loss of the lives of the students. Finally a cabinet subcommittee was formed, okay, to pacify the students. At the same time, we also have a committee which is called Jagan Mohan Reddy Committee. You know, P. Jagan Mohan Reddy, Pingal Jagan Mohan Reddy Committee that was appointed on September 5, 1952. We have September 3rd there was a filing, then September 4th there was a filing. So this Jagan Mohan Reddy Committee was appointed. The idea is simply, what are the reasons? What led to the filing, whether it is justified or not, whether the second, what should we say, any committee will be given some agenda, right? The second point is very interesting. If needed, is there any need for investigation of the students? Is there any need for the cause of agitation by the students? 2 tasks. I repeat, Jagan Mohan Reddy Committee was given 2 agenda points, 2 orders, criteria for the investigation. 1, circumstances that led to filing. The second, what was the cause of students' agitation? These are the 2 important things. Now, what was the cause? If you dig deeper, the cause was the Mulki non-Mulki issue. Yes or no? But then, Jagan Mohan Reddy Committee limited itself only to the cause of filing. It did not suggest any broader ways and means to douse the file of agitation by the students, which was driven by the Mulki non-Mulki issue at its fulcrum, at its base or foundation. The lathi charge point. The main point is, what was the issue that led to? If at all Jagan Mohan Reddy Committee has focused also on this, the situation would have been different. The focus would have been not only on the filing, but also on the Mulki non-Mulki issue. See, the committees deal very intelligently. Whenever a committee is formed, whether it is Jagan Mohan Reddy or somebody or go with the committee or whatever, they simply ask government, what do you want to do? The government will give committee leadership or membership to those people who will, play fidel for the government view. So the point is, Jagan Mohan Reddy Committee simply twisted the agenda criteria. It only focused on the kind of the filing. It examined lot of witnesses, did lot of halla hype and all that, and finally said, see, it is unavoidable for the police to go for the filing because situation was raging out of hands, and there were top people like Chief Minister and all that involved. So automatically there is no way to resolve, otherwise there would have been more violent. So this is the committee report, and it was very happily silent on the second issue. And friends, after that, the whole Telangana movement or the Mulki or non-Mulki issue, let us say Mulki or non-Mulki issue, got enveloped into Visalandhra agitation after this. Okay? Now whether Andhra and Telangana should be together or not, the states reorganization, SRC. So the Mulki and non-Mulki issue was on the back burner after these committees, and eventually the whole issue is whether Telangana and Andhra should join in the form of Visalandhra. So the debates, Fazil Ali committee or states reorganization committee, both are same. So the Mulki non-Mulki issue died down. There were bigger issues that engulfed the Mulki and non-Mulki movement of 1942. It was overshadowed by a bigger movement for or bigger discussion on whether Andhra and Telangana should be together. Okay, so that's why it did not achieve its desired result. But friends, at the same time, it always became an inspiration for the later participants of the movement. Point number one. Point number two, it also proved one thing, that there was never a sincere effort on whatever the governments that came up in the recent years. I mean, post-independent India, there was never a serious issue to address the injustice done to Telangana in terms of jobs, later in terms of funds, later in terms of water. Okay, so this is how you need to understand this. The explanation was bigger, but the answer will be on the same lines, which I will distribute it to you. So rest of the things we will see tomorrow. Okay, today we had a problem with the timing. Morning we couldn't do because of some other issue. Tomorrow we'll have a full class, 1.5 hours. Okay, thank you guys and girls.